Okay, welcome back to What If History Restarted. Last time there was a decently major war in Europe, but Netherlands was probably hit the hardest. But maybe this one too. But yeah, just some war. But last episode I also promised I would be focusing more on Asia in this one, so that's what we're going to do. I feel like I've kind of been neglecting Asia, so we're going to look at it now. So first we're going to pull the trade routes. And this is because Baikal over here has been making some cities. And they are on the trade route. Got one there, one here. And probably one at this intersection right down there. So yeah, now there's a couple extra major cities in Lake Baikal Nation. They're still neutral in this war. Or not war, but they're still neutral for the triangle versus anti-triangle alliance. We do see, look at the religion map, it's kind of general migration of people going upwards. So like Chinese might come up here, the dark red Chinese specifically, and maybe we just see the Russians kind of move up into the rest. So with that, all of Siberia is populated, obviously pretty sparsely in these areas, but still technically. So we also probably would see that with Iceland, so let's just fill that in real quick. Maybe we even see some of these light blue people mixing in with the natives up here, and they kind of make a new little religion, ethnicity. So this is like a mixture of the native people, who we can also draw in, I guess, and the light blue guys. So the native people, we just make this green color. These are just like the northerners. Maybe pretty big, but that's fine. All the way down here. And then we have this mixed culture, so we'll just do this. And yeah, so this is like Greenland, Quebec, and moving down here even. Probably might even see some Chinese people make it over to Alaska. Fill in this. Although they would probably adopt a new culture now, so make them a branch of the old one. That's not intended. Then just gonna expand out these guys. Like so. Not like that. And these guys can take up the rest. And down here, I kind of forgot to do that, I guess. But just like bam. So yeah, there's just generally more native people all over the world. Basically everyone, or every place is filled in now. Soon enough it will be every place. Just got off, well, other than Antarctica. We'll just take you. Actually, you're probably like pretty outbacky, so yep. So yeah, with that, all places other than Antarctica are now filled with natives, so that's something. You can take off the actual world map and you can see that. But anyway, looking away from the ethnicity, natives, come back to the world map. And basically all of that was just so I could make an excuse for them expanding upwards. So that's what we're going to see. These guys move up here to try and take some more Chinese, try and incorporate more of these northern Chinese people. All these guys are kind of spilling over into the Russians, but that's okay, I guess. So See, might see a little bit of spillover here. And then just these guys across this. Maybe just capture this entire bay. With that though, over in the more Himalayan areas, we finally see that everything's going to get explored here. And so this guy kind of just takes it all for itself. But pretty quickly, this country and dark green one over here, Indus River Valley, these guys pretty quickly start having border disputes over here, because these guys did manage to take some land. So naturally, Indus is going to go ahead and start invading them. Indus is definitely a lot stronger than them. However, Indus does have some pretty valuable Persian land over here, and this Persia is definitely eyeing it up because it wants to have all of Persia. So you might see they are actually going to go ahead and help out the other guys. So they start pushing in here. That's just Holy Omani. I thought they were invading them for a second, but no. But yeah, these guys start pushing in here, and they take all three of these major cities, start making their way to this vital city. With that, Indus starts reorganizing some of their troops, so their expansion is slowed a little bit. They probably would not be going out down here because that's mountains. But yeah, they just have been going out towards the capital. However, these guys are definitely over here in Persia, definitely doing pretty great. The vital city is still not captured, but it's very nearly is. I mean, literally like this. The people over here who are aligned already don't want to because they'd be scared that then the other alliance is going to try and hurt them. So, yeah. Of course, like with Europe, these alliances aren't necessarily as modern as to where it is like attack one, then you attack all, but it's just more like a team of countries. But still, they don't want to risk it. So anyway, this team has its capital captured. And Indus now, with that, starts sending out a bunch more troops over here, finally freeing this city, and even making an encirclement over here, taking out those guys. They try to get back these cities, but they are too tough. These guys do manage to go back out here and fill up a lot of this land. Things might not be getting too great, though, as now the red team is going to go into them, because they are expansionist. Take this city and are pretty much immediately at the gates of the capital. However, the blue team is, I think I said that the blue team and red team were at war last episode. I just forgot about that. But yeah, blue team is finally going to go to war with the red team. And yeah, no one likes the red team. What is going on? So over here, this country just capitulates. And now Indus starts moving up here, and they finally take these cities. Don't know what's going on down here. Oh no. Yep. With that, Persia is completely pushed out of them. And now they start pushing into Persia, moving along the coast and even taking a vital city. And the capital is surrounded on both sides and eventually is taken. And soon enough it capitulates. Red team's like, help me out against blue team, please, but these guys did not agree to that, so they are not going to. And now we even see these guys start pushing in here. And eventually, once the capital gets taken, the red team's going to do the smart thing and just surrender. So now we take a look at this peace treaty, which will be very interesting. First of all, Indus is going to be taking a nice chunk out of these guys, including a lot of the Himalayas. So Indus is one of the larger countries in the world now, actually. Let's see. Yeah, so by a mile, the largest country is still these guys, I believe. Yeah, it's really not actually that close, but still. I think second place is actually Japan, which is surprising. Sort of. I would have figured second place is Indus or the Africans, but I guess not. Okay, but anyway, going back to the peace treaty finally. Indus doesn't want to get too big, but it's not that much of an issue since they are all lime people. So, yeah. But still, they're going to just take all of this, which I guess is still a lot, but, you know, whatever. Clean this up. And the red team is actually going to just be losing land all around. So Persia's going to be grabbing up all of this, and now they're landlocked again. Blue team will be taking this, and I don't know what to call this, I guess Anatolia will be taking this. So the red team does still exist. Maybe to be nice, they'll get a coast, but no major cities on it. Yeah. So with that, they're feeling pretty upset that they just got smaller. So naturally, they're just going to invade this team to make up for it. Red team is a little gremlin, and this country is pretty weak, so it capitulates over pretty easily. However, Egypt's like, get out my land, and the red team is not in Egypt's land, but Egypt says it's close enough. So Egypt now starts pushing in over here, and poor red team just gets completely pushed out here, and then they say, fine, end the war. So now in the peace treaty, the red team's going to get a lot less land than they hoped for. They only get this, and Egypt is quite a bit larger. This country down here is kind of scared of Egypt, but they actually do some diplomatic stuff and get better relations with them. Anyway, over here in the Holy Omani Empire, hold on. Well, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but something definitely did. Yep, that's the daily Omani update. That's gonna be the thing that we do. So anyway, looking back over here. The Bay of Bengal area is very tense, mainly because of these two. And, wait, on cities. I mean, soon enough things are just gonna boil over between these two. And basically, they're gonna start fighting each other. Pretty much every Bay of Bengal country is going to get involved in this. So all of these guys. So you can definitely, I'd say it's probably pretty even, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. But keep in mind this one's like nothing, so it's pretty even. And of course both are receiving external support. Definitely more for the Reverse Triangle Alliance. But anyway, first fighting happens over here in India. As India starts pushing in here and captures this major city, moving towards the capital. This country surprisingly does actually fight pretty well against India. It just kind of goes out from itself. Same cannot be said for this country, who India is kind of beaten up. Over here, by Myanmar, I guess, they start pushing up and capture this major city, and now Bangladesh's capital is encircled. Over here, though, Malaysia, I'm just going to call them Malaysia. Malaysia starts expanding out here, and they even make a surprise naval landing that captures the capital of this country. And from there, they actually have a pretty good time just moving out here, pushing them over to the coast. This country helps them out a little bit, but they're mostly focused in with Bangladesh. Over down here, this poor country just dies. But India did have to send back some troops to help with that, so Bangladesh actually made a little comeback here. In fact, they met up with this country, so now their troops are working together here. And they actually managed to capture this major city of India, pushing out to the triangle. I mean, really, it just looks like that. I don't think we need the alliances anymore. There's only one trade route going through here, but it's mostly controlled by the reverse triangles right now. Only triangle territory with it is India's capital, pretty much. so that's not going to be important. This guy dies, and while Malaysia does do a pretty good job of pushing into Myanmar, Myanmar is doing a pretty good job at pushing into Bangladesh, as they captured the entire eastern portion. And with that, India starts sending their troops right back out here, and soon enough Bangladesh actually just falls over. However, a lot of their troops are still out here, so these guys surprisingly managed to capture India's capital, and a ton of troops are encircled here. So these guys all die. And guess who else is going to be in this war, just to nab up some land? It's Indus. So yeah, they just go out here and then leave. I don't know. Wow, look how much land this one tiny country got. Anyway, over here it's going a little bit better for them, as we see that Malaysia actually manages to capture all of this. I guess these troops are just going to fall over to them. And we start to push up here, and this country also capitulates. Peace is signed. So now we can take a look at the Bengal War. So, first of all, this country got kind of steamrolled, so they're just going to be losing land over to India. This country did very great for their size, so they're going to be expanding out like this. Bangladesh and India. Bangladesh is actually going to get land out of this. And Indus is going to be getting a good portion of India. As you can see that there. Over here, Malaysia honestly kind of was like the MVP of this war. They're going to be getting a huge portion of this country, including their capital. Not all of it. Do need to change that to a major city. I think we'll actually make it a vital city. So, move you over here. Or not you. You. And then you are the capital. Need to rearrange this a little bit too. Indus is still not going to do anything or get involved with any alliance because it doesn't want to. So, good for them, I guess. But anyway, for this country, Myanmar, they're going to be losing most of Myanmar, including this capital, or major city. I keep calling them capitals. However, then they gain a lot of actual Myanmar, as they now go up here and take all this from Bangladesh. He's looking very strange now. But that was that. And so Bangladesh and this country are actually going to go ahead and surprisingly unite. So just to do that, we're going to make you half opaque and do that. That should be roughly the middle of those colors. And so this new union, Bangladesh, India, I'm just going to call it the Bengal Union, is now a thing. Its capital is going to remain in good old Bangladesh's capital, but this will be a vital city. And they're actually going to be able to open up some more major cities. Do not need you anymore. No alliances. No, I need the alliances, though, just not you. So yeah, that was that one. I don't like this border, so we're just going to say that they sell land over to the neutral country. Like, let's look at the religion map. What is here? Oh, well, actually, it's probably not going to work. So maybe they sell this to these guys. Pretty much to make their border go in their religion. I think that's the easiest way to phrase this. That's an issue, though. Here, these guys get this. Then there's two of them here. So they're going to be getting both of them, or I guess these guys will get that. And yeah. think Baikal is interested by this, I guess. And Indus is actually became very powerful this episode. I didn't really even realize that, but they are massive now. Over here, these trading route countries are going to do nothing. And then looking over here, we have the two core triangle team members, Korea and Squidward China. They are both pretty weak now. Well, Squidward China is pretty weak now, but Korea is still pretty strong. They definitely wouldn't be able to win a war though, because they'd pretty much be guaranteed to have to fight South China, this blue one, and Japan, and they definitely cannot do that. So Korea is actually just going to do something kind of interesting here. They're just going to sail on a boat to try and find some new land, because they know that there's a bunch of islands down here. And sure enough, they land over here, and then they just start island hopping. They also find Papua New Guinea, and soon enough, there's a massive effort from all these countries to help explore Indonesia. And with that, it'll now be like this. They're almost to the Australian natives, but not quite yet. Anyway, with this, Korea is going to be taking a lot of this. We'll just do that. So yeah, Korea takes a bunch of this, but there is still some left for the other countries. However, over in Malaysia, Sumatra is actually going to be rebelling against them, because they do not want to be under their rule. I believe, yes, they are a different branch of the Chinese religion, so they make sense. They start pushing up here, but Malaysia is pretty strong, so they just push them right back out. And now they land over here in the north and just take over this entire strait. So once they get down to here, it kind of stalemates, as they have some pretty strong defenses down here. That's where most of their population is. So they just actually agree to end the war right here. And now this becomes South Sumatra. South Sumatra is also going to take over, the entire world apparently. They also take over Java, Jakarta. I think this is Java, because this is Sumatra, this is Java, this is Borneo, and then Jakarta is a city somewhere. They also take over a section of Borneo. I just called it by its name, and I already almost forgot. I don't think Korea would get any of it, though. You might see the South Philippines take over a northern chunk, and the rest is actually going to go ahead and make itself into a country, just like that. So yeah, these countries want nothing to do with all the conflict going on up here, so they do not do anything. But with these islands now under their control, Korea is going to be exploiting them a lot, and all the natives here for resources and stuff, and to hopefully get a little bit more powerful. So this country right here is a little bit less willing to fight. It wants to be a little bit more independent from the rest of the Anti-Triangle Alliance, and so it doesn't have the best relations with them. So Korea and China are going to test their luck. They're going to start invading it to see if it goes well. So Korea makes a landing up here, and these guys start pushing in from down here, and that is going pretty nicely for them. However, of course, there is inevitably going to be at least one country that's going to join them, or join against them, which is Japan, as it starts moving into what is the rest of Japan, as well as a little bit up here in North Korea. However, this country is pretty weak, so it just kind of follows over. And now occupation is left over to Squidward China. That is what I'm going to be calling them, and you can't stop me. And now they can focus in on Japan. They ask some of their allies to join in the war, but they're like, you got this. So they just send them some funding, and that's it. However, they probably don't, as they now start getting pushed out completely from Korea. And now Korea starts pushing into them, moving along this coast and taking this lake, running rampant through all of Japan until they get stopped at the city. And from there, they just keep moving up here. And eventually, Japan's just gonna be like, okay, fine, you can take this country, but that's it. And so these guys are actually going to agree to that. So Japan gets to stay whole. However, this country over here will be going over to Squidward China. So, yes. Now, if we can change this over to this. Lake Baikal is pretty neutral in all this. But over here, the Chinese, Squidward China, and even Korea are being really big nuisances. They keep like moving into Baikal's territory and just kind of acting like it's theirs and stuff like that. And Baikal really doesn't like that, so they consider going to war, but they do not. Instead, they just kind of do the same thing to them. They just go into their territory and start acting like it's theirs. And soon there's some disputed territory up here, probably like this. So to show it, I might actually just do this. I think that works well. And the reason it's still is like mostly Squidward China color is because it's still mostly controlled by them. But Baikal claims it, just like how Squidward China claims all this. So yeah, there's some disputed land up here. Squidward China says that they have that. These guys say they have that. It's a big mess. But that is actually going to do it for this episode, so I don't really have much of an outro to do, but yeah, mostly focusing on Asia. All of the Himalayas are filled in, and I didn't even really plan on it, but I just kind of accidentally made Indus a superpower. So, goodbye.